Hey guys, welcome to another YouTube video. My name is Rondella Daisy. I'm an artist and animator and I love to do watercolor. So today I'm going to do a review of the portable painter. This is basically a watercolor palette that is advertised to be really easy to carry around with you and do watercolor on the go in public places, basically wherever you are. And I was really excited to test this out because I have been looking at this for a long time, but I just got it a while ago as a Christmas present. So I was super excited about this. Basically, my expectations going into this were, I just really wanted something that I would be able to take with me easily to go to places to do watercolor painting. I was currently working with a really sad watercolor palette that wasn't working for me. It was kind of homebrewed and it was not a very fun experience to do watercolor painting with it, so I was super excited about it. Whenever I opened the portable painter palette, it came with a rubber band, a stretchy rubber band thingy. It came with the watercolor brush and it came with the the little water wells on the side. Everything was packaged really neatly and I really loved the way it looked. It was super sleek and it just got me excited about painting, And so I filled up the paint pans with my new watercolors I got and I started painting with it. I'm basically going to now list the things I really liked about it and the things I didn't like about it. So first thing, what I really liked, it really was tiny. Tiny is a good word for it. Just so that you can see right here, this is like how tiny it actually is. I thought it was gonna be about 20% bigger than this, but I was actually really pleased with how small it was. Yeah, it was really great. So I loved how small it was. And just to give you another comparison with this, since this has the water wells attached to it, so you can take them off and they go on the side like that. Since I can do that, I do not have to carry around these with me, which is what I was doing before. These were my water wells, and I brought two of them because I like having my dirty water and my clean water. So it's the difference between taking a bag this size and a bag this size. So you can take your nice purse or your big walking bag, and I prefer taking my nice purse places. So that was a really big plus for me, and it's really easy to get it out. And one thing I loved about it is I'm able to use it in public places indoors without like a big deal about it. I'm always kind of paranoid, like if I'm watercolor painting inside somewhere, like I don't know, I'll get in trouble or something. It's just something that people don't do. I don't know, like I was sitting in Walmart painting, waiting for my mom while she was grocery shopping, and I'm like, this is great. And then again, I was, in church. I can literally sit in church and watercolor paint in the back row, and I just think that's so awesome. Yeah, that was really good. Again, it just made me excited about painting, and I was able to take it places and paint with it. And also, what it was more advertised for, it's really easy to paint with it outside as well. You can just place it on your knee and you can just go at it, and it's hands-free, so you don't have to use your hands to hold it, which does make it a bit more difficult if you want to stand and paint somewhere. I like it sitting down. I like to paint sitting down usually. And then number 3, I just liked the way it looked. It looked very sleek, very, nice. I liked the brushes that it came with. It has a really cool brush where basically it has one brush on this end, and you can take this out and it has 2 brushes, and that's really cool for me, and it will fit in the portable painter, as you can see here. One downside of that though is that most of your other brushes won't fit in it. It's basically made for this one brush, and unless you like saw your brushes down to like half their size, they won't fit in it, which I've contemplated doing sometimes, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. But yeah, I like the brush. I think it's easy to work with. I tend to use more flat brushes than like round brushes, but it's not that big of a deal to me. But yeah, I like the brush. It was super great. 3 things I didn't like about it. So the paint pans, as you can see. So as you can see here, these little pans in here, you can actually remove them. You can take them out, and that way you can replace them with different watercolors. You can switch them out, so that's a good thing. But one thing I did not like about it, whenever I first got it, it was like nearly impossible to get them out. Like I spent an hour and a half ruining my nails trying to get these paints out of the portable painter, and eventually I had to take it to my brother, and he had this really weird like pointy tool for whatever sculpting, and he got it out for me, and it was really frustrating. So that's one thing I didn't like about it. Like it has these little adhesives at the bottom of the little paint pan so that it doesn't rattle around in there, but I could not get them out. So, well, I couldn't get them out easily. So once I did get them out, I was able to put the paint in them, and then I put them back in, and they haven't been as difficult to take out. But yeah, that was frustrating. Number two, even though it's really easy to get out in a public place and just set it up and start painting, it's like a lot more difficult to put it away, especially if you're painting inside, because you have to find somewhere to pour the water out. You have to make sure you dry the water wells, or else you don't want this to stay wet, or else all your paints are gonna be wet. And I just feel like it's almost a lot more hassle, because I feel like there's a lot more stuff to put away, whereas with my other stuff, I just had to pour out these. They didn't take very long to dry, and I was basically ready to go. And then that leads me to my next thing. If you don't dry these out really well, I mean, even if you do dry them out, this seals really tight, so any moisture that's in there is going to stay in there until you let it dry out. So that's one thing I found out. I opened it after I had painted with it one time, and it was really sticky and kind of yucky, and the paint was not dry after I had used it. Whereas with the watercolor palette I was using before, this is kind of one that I made. This one, it doesn't seal very tight, which I feel like is a good thing for me because it lets the watercolors dry out, and that's super important. Yeah, just be very careful that you make sure you dry these all the way, or else you're gonna have wet watercolors sloshing around in your portable painter. But yeah, that was my thoughts. Those were my thoughts about the portable painter. Overall, I think it's a really great watercolor palette, and I think that for me, I still have to explore with it. I have to figure out, different ways to use it. It's gonna be a process, trying out different, products and watercolor palettes. You just have to explore with it. Here are my finished paintings. I really like actually the way they turned out. They're super muddy, but I feel like they have cool shape design. So, these are the kind of things I would probably take, and I would experiment more with them whenever I'm not in a cold, wet environment. So yeah, I think that's it for today. If you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments below, and be sure to give it a like and to subscribe if you want to see more. Be sure to check out my Instagram and Twitter, and also my website. I'm doing commissions. So yeah, bye. Do you like my sink?